We are waiting for our music director. So as soon as we can't start without her, folks. Yeah. Okay. I told him we couldn't start without you. Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm Teresa Poole. I'm your worship associate today. We want to welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Roanoke. And if you're with us for the first time, a special welcome to you. And we hope you will join us after the service for the coffee hour. Plus, lots of other goodies as well. You're having many opportunities today. We want to remind those who are joining us on YouTube, you also welcoming you. And if you have anything that you would like to put into Lifelines, please do that within the next 15 minutes if you could. Our minister is the Reverend Walter LaFleur, and he will be in the pulpit again next week. Our guest speaker this week is our fellow congregation member, Gordon Malchewski. Eventually, I'm going to get it. Okay. And also a reminder, if you will please silence your cell phones. We are going to start with the reading of the covenant. We commit to supporting each other with respect and direct communication as we work in a community to explore spiritual growth and to be a force for good in the world. And I think we have a board member today who's going to be giving us a report. No, I didn't get one. Okay. Okay, the opening music. Thank you, Dickie.
The words mean, oh Creator, we lift you up to infinity. And then at the end you hear the word Pilamaye, and that means thank you. And Jesse's going to help me because you guys are going to participate in this song. So if you're on this side of the room, from here over, you're just going to tap your legs like this. When we start singing, you don't have to do it forever. And if you're on this side of the room, on Jesse's side, you're gonna stomp. You can stomp them both, you can stomp one, and if you're not a stomper, you can just hit something at the appropriate stomping time. Okay? Hey, hey, how she loves. Hey, hey, won't be lost. Hey, hey, come she coos. Hey, hey, my yeah. Hey, hey, come she loves. Hey, hey, won't be lost. Hey, hey, come she coos. Hey, hey, be la my yeah. Hey, hey, come she loves. Hey, hey, won't be lost. Hey, hey, coom she coos. Hey, hey, la my yeah. Hey, hey, be la my yeah. Hey, hey, be la my yeah. Woo!
Our opening words. Amid all the noise in our lives, we take this moment to sit in silence, to give thanks for another day, to give thanks for all those in our lives who have brought us warmth and love, to give thanks for the gift of life. We know we are on our pilgrimage here, but a brief moment in time. Let us open ourselves here, now, to the process of becoming more whole, of living more fully, of giving and forgiving more freely, of understanding more completely the meaning of our lives here on this earth. So we'll now do our chalice lighting. This is the abundance of our lives together. We light our chalice as a symbol of gratitude as we celebrate the abundance of our lives together. In this sanctuary, we harvest the strength for one another and offer our crop with the hands of compassion and generosity. In the authentic and gentle manner of our connections, we cultivate a simple sweetness to brighten our spirits. May we be grateful for the ways we nourish and uplift each other, for it is the sharing of this hallowed time together that sustains us.
May the light we now kindle inspire us to use our power to heal and not to harm, to love and not to hinder, to bless and not to curse, to serve you, O Spirit of light.
Jessica, you're right here at Lifespan Faith Development Spirit. I'd like to invite all young folks up, or if you just want to come and hear a story, you can come up too. So come on up. We have a really cool book to read today by Todd Parr. And Todd Parr makes very colorful illustrations, so get ready for some bright colors. This book is called The Thankful Book. Every day, I try to think about the things I am thankful for. I am thankful for my hair because it makes me unique. I'm thankful for my ears because they let me hear words like "I love you." I am thankful for my garden because I like to watch things grow. I am thankful for my shadow because it makes me look taller. I'm thankful for bubble baths because they keep me squeaky clean. I am thankful for underwear because I like to wear it on my head. I'm thankful for my friends because they make me smile. I am thankful for my pets because they keep me warm. I'm thankful for vacations because I get to see new people and places. I'm thankful for walks because they are special times for me and me. I'm thankful for my hands because they help me give. I'm thankful for my feet because they help me run and play. I'm thankful for music because it makes me want to dance. I am thankful for colors because they make me want to paint. I'm thankful for school because I love to learn new things. And our illustration is a different kind of school, the school of fish. I'm thankful for the library because it's filled with endless adventures. I'm thankful for healthy food because it keeps me strong. I am thankful for fall because I like to jump in the leaves, unless they're wet. I'm thankful for the winter because I like to build snowmen. I'm thankful for hugs because they make me feel good. I am thankful for kisses because they make me feel loved. I'm thankful for holidays because they bring my family together. There are lots of things to be thankful for. Try to remember some of them every day. The end. Love, Todd. So, Todd mentioned holidays. What's the next holiday? Does anybody know? Thanksgiving. So today we are going to do a ritual with the whole church that is it usually happens around Thanksgiving. It is our bread unit. So get a little closer. What's in here? Bread. What kind of breads do you think are in there? Well, some of them are labeled. We've got a French baton. Probably saying that wrong. We've got some beautiful sourdough. Oh, we've got some applesauce bread.
I think this is the French.
Yeah. We've got some good bread, but I bet there's still more bread out there. What do you think? I want you guys to go grab bread. If you have bread, pull it out, hold it up high. We're going to put it in this basket, and then as a church, we are going to bless this bread. So get up, look around, see who's got bread. Go grab some bread. Bring it back to the basket. That's quick. Are there any more for you? Awesome. We're going to go ahead and put it inside because we get to deliver it to the bread table. And while you are giving your bread, whoa, bread man on the everyone should have a hymnal that looks like this. Open it to number 727. And we are going to be the people, just put your hands on the basket. It's a lot of bread. We're going to bless it for everybody. And I'm going to read the plain text, and those adults are going to read the italic text. And you guys just get to listen because you did the hard work of gathering the bread. This is a reading by Rudolf Nimser. The bread we share this day is sacred. The friendship we share this day is sacred. The laughter we share this day is sacred. The stillness we share this day is sacred. For bread Friends, for joy and sorrow, for the comfort of quietness, let us ever be grateful and caring. And if you share the bread at the end of the service, you get to eat it later. Not all of it at once, that's a lot of bread. All right, let's take this bread to the bread table. That's hot. You don't have to. Go that way. A lot of bread, a lot of love in this basket.
So good morning again. As Teresa said, my name is Gord Malcheski, and this morning I'll be sharing some thoughts with you on grateful living. Some of you may remember back in July, I spoke about gratitude. You can think of this sermon as being gratitude 2.0. So specifically, I'm going to be talking about gratefulness, and I'll be talking to you about some of the differences that I see between gratitude and gratefulness. Gratefulness to me goes to a little bit of a deeper level. So I'll be highlighting some of those differences between gratitude and gratefulness. Now, before I begin my talk, I'd like to kind of set the mood with a short video. It lasts about 5 minutes long. It is titled simply A Grateful Day. The spoken words come to us from a Benedictine monk, Brother David Steindl-Rast. He has been a Benedictine monk since 1959, and this video has been watched by over 1 million people. So I invite you to relax and enjoy a grateful day.
You think this is just another day in your life? It's not just another day. It's the one day that is given to you today. It's a gift. It's the only gift that you have right now. And the only appropriate response is gratefulness. If you learn to respond as if it were the first day in your life and the very last day, then you will have spent this day very well. Begin by opening your eyes and be surprised that you have eyes you can open. That incredible array of colors that is constantly offered to us for pure enjoyment. Look at the sky. We so rarely look at the sky. We so rarely note how different it is from moment to moment with clouds coming and going. Open your eyes, look at that. Look at the faces of people whom you meet. Each one has an incredible story behind their face. Not only their own story, but the story of their ancestors. All that life from generations and from so many places all over the world flows together and meets you here like a life-giving water if you only open your heart and drink. Open your heart to the incredible gifts that civilization gives to us. You flip a switch and there is electric light. Turn a faucet and there is warm water and cold water and drinkable water. A gift that millions and millions in the world will never experience. And so I wish you that you will open your heart to all these blessings and let them flow through you. That everyone whom you will meet on this day will be blessed by you, just by your presence. Let the gratefulness overflow into blessing all around you. And then it will really be a good day.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that video as much as I did the first time I saw it. So listening to the words once again, what struck me with Brother David, his comment that said, if you only open your heart and drink. So I think that's very important for us to remember. But the video shows us or invites us to slow down and appreciate all the wonderful gifts that we receive. And even more than that, as countries around the world are experiencing increased levels of populism and isolationism, the video also reminds us of our shared humanity. And it prompts us to reach out to others, even if it's only something as simple as a smile. So, what is grateful living? And how can we live with a greater sense of gratefulness? How is gratefulness different from gratitude? And how can we be more grateful for all the things that we are responsible for doing? What gets in the way of gratefulness? What are some of the guiding principles of grateful living? And how is gratefulness related to our Unitarian Universalist principles? So before I dig into that, I just want to do a little bit of a recap for those of you that may not have been at the talk I gave on gratitude, because I think there were some good points. And as Therese and I talked about, it's always good to be reminded of these things. We're bombarded with so many negative things. We have so many things to do in life that I think it does take a real effort. We need to concentrate on those things that we are grateful for. So during the sermon or the talk that I gave back in July, we talked about the personal benefits associated with gratitude. They include things like better physical and psychological health, increased happiness, and life satisfaction. I think those are all worthy things to have in our lives. I talked about how excessive busyness tends to get in the way of gratitude, and that it's best to find ways to make gratitude a regular part of our routine. And we're actually going to try out one of those practices during the service today. And what I really like about it is it's very quick. There's so many things tugging at us, things that we have to do, that what we really need are some techniques or some practices that are quick and easy that we can incorporate multiple times during the day. I also shared a story with you about a billboard that appeared in New York City, and it had a single word on it, gratitude. And in that word gratitude, there was an extra letter A. When the artist was questioned as to why he put in an extra letter A in the word gratitude, He explained that the letter A was for the word attitude. And he explained that with gratitude, it's all about the attitude. And finally, a poem we shared with you was titled, I Am Thankful For. And I'll just read the first and last line to you, but it does provide a perspective on how to frame our experiences in life. So the first line read, I am thankful for the mess to clean up after a party because it means I have been surrounded by friends. And the last line, I am grateful for the alarm that goes off in the morning hours because it means I am alive. I'm guessing that very few of us, upon hearing the alarm go off in the morning, jump out of bed and exclaim, thank God I'm alive. Then again, we are Unitarian Universalists, so maybe thank you, universe, I'm alive is more appropriate. Although that doesn't quite have the same ring to it. The reality is we probably don't say either one of those things when we hear the alarm and get up in the morning, but maybe we should. So what are some of the differences between gratitude and gratefulness? So with gratitude, we feel thankful when someone does something nice for us, or when we get something that we want. Pretty straightforward. And we typically say thank you in those moments. Conversely, gratefulness takes thankfulness a step further. It celebrates the deeper truths of waking up each day and finding the lesson in those difficult situations. It gives us the strength to respond to our challenges in a more productive way and to learn from those challenges. It offers us a chance to see that every situation, whether positive or negative, pleasant or unpleasant, provides us with an opportunity to grow and experience life on a deeper level. You can think of gratefulness as gratitude for life. You don't have to wait for something good to happen to feel gratefulness. Sometimes waking up each new day is enough. We need to observe and appreciate the lessons in all life's experiences, whether they are joyful or painful. So a grateful life is going to incorporate several things. So first of all, not taking the simple things in life for granted. Once again, we do not need to do anything to feel grateful or wait for anything more to happen to feel grateful. We merely need to allow ourselves to notice and appreciate the things we often overlook and take for granted. Let me share a surprising moment of gratefulness that I experienced recently. A few days ago, I was working out at Planet Fitness, and I had just finished my workout. I was thirsty and I needed a drink of water. So I walked a few steps over to the water fountain. I pressed the button on the front of the fountain, and instantaneously, fresh, clean water began flowing in a beautiful crystal arc. I paused a moment and thought to myself how awesome that was. Not only was the water safe to drink, it had fluoride in it to protect my teeth. And even better than that, it was chilled to the perfect temperature to provide the ultimate refreshment. And to think it was readily accessible, I could have it anytime I wanted, I could have much as I wanted, all with the simple act of pushing a button. And at that moment, I actually felt a sense of awe and gratefulness for what was available to me. And then I thought, wow, all these books I've been reading about gratefulness in preparation for my talk are really working. Another aspect of gratefulness is the ability to savor each moment in the here and now. And last week in Rev Walter's sermon, he alluded to the fact that we need to be present in the here and now. So it's important to focus on the present moment and not ruminate about the past or worry about the future. This is where meditation can really help. And if you haven't done much in the way of meditation, you might want to check out one of the apps that I use for your smartphone. It's simply called Breathe. It's a meditation app that allows you to set the length of the time of the meditation. So you can actually start out with a meditation that's only 5 minutes long, and then you can increase the duration as you get a little more comfortable. And I think that we can all manage 5 minutes a day to increase our sense of gratefulness. Another important characteristic of gratitude is appreciating your life as it is today and considering who and what helped you to become successful and fulfilled. I think that's a point that we often overlook. We can sometimes be so independent and we feel that our success is due to our own efforts. But when we stop and think about it, there are a lot of people that have brought us to where we are here today. The next is finding the lesson or wisdom in difficult situations. It's also very important for grateful living. So I'd like to share another story with you. 2 years ago, my mom, her name was Pauline, died at age 83. She was a very thoughtful and loving mother, and she was also meticulous and a bit of a perfectionist. So if you're wondering, Bert, where that comes from, now you know. Although I think you used a different word than perfectionist, but that was close. She was a lovely woman who always took great care of her physical appearance and took a lot of pride in her home. She definitely noticed things. One day I got a call from my sister-in-law that I was dreading. Hi, Gord. It's Mare. Mom is not doing good. Your brother and Mr. Frank, her partner of over 30 years, are here now with a hospice nurse. She's fading fast. The family was around her as she sat up in her favorite green recliner. They were holding her hands with tears in their eyes, and they told her how much they loved her. But my mom wasn't feeling very sentimental at that moment. She had something else on her mind. She was focusing on how things around her looked or appeared, as she typically did. At that moment, she glanced up at my brother Bill, who was standing over her. Looking into his eyes, she said, "Your glasses are filthy." Shortly thereafter, she took her final breath. It was actually one of the last things she said to my brother. Now, every time we tell this story, we shed a tear, but we also laugh a little. Our mother was simply being who she was. We learned that even in the midst of great sadness and loss, there can be moments of gratefulness and even a bit of laughter. Next, I'd like to talk to you about how we can reframe our attitude toward commitments and responsibilities. And this is where we get to have a little interactive exercise for you. So we want you to be able to see your commitments and responsibility not as burdensome or unpleasant, but viewing them instead as blessings or opportunities. So imagine losing things that sometimes feel burdensome. Taking care of a home, doing chores, helping loved ones, getting your car repaired, or working overtime. So gratefulness helps us savor those things and help us avoid taking them for granted. So to help us shift our perspective about some of our routine responsibilities, I'd like each of you to participate in a brief written exercise. So on your chairs, you have some cards. There also are some pens around. We've got some more up front if you need them. You can use the back of your hymnals to write on as a backing. So if you would please find your cards. The ushers in the back, if you need a pen, just raise your hand. If you need a pen, raise your hand. I don't know about you, but when I typically was faced with having to do these exercises in a group setting, it's not something that I was looking forward to. But don't worry, you don't have to read anything out loud. You don't have to share anything with anyone else. This is only for your own benefit. Okay? So what I'd like you to do on those cards is I'd like you to write down 3 things that you need to do in the coming week. But I have a little caveat for you. I'd like you to start out all those sentences with I have to. So if you'd please start out each one of those tasks that you have to accomplish in the coming week, I have to, and then fill in the blank. So if you just go ahead and do 3 of those, don't spend too much time on it. Just 3 things that you have to do in the coming week. And these can be very routine tasks or chores. Could be something as I have to go shopping or I have to go to the dentist. Okay, so now what I'd like you to do is take the word have, cross it out, and write in the word get. So instead of have, cross out the word have and write in the word get. I get to. You're probably experiencing at least a little bit of a shift here now that you've done that. And there's one last task for you to do. Now, this you don't have to write down, but you can just read this to yourself at the end of your sentence. And what you want to add at the end is when so many people cannot. When so many people cannot. I get to when so many people cannot. And then reread those 3 things to yourself. So hopefully you found this to be a simple and yet very powerful way to reframe the approach to those things on our to-do list. And you'd be surprised, even for something as simple as reframing something like, I have to go to the gym today. Just by saying, I get to go to the gym today, it changes my motivation. So this is something, once again, I know we've got a lot going on in our lives. This is something you can do multiple times every single day. So what are some of the things that get in the way of gratefulness? Well, having assumptions and expectations about the outcome of a situation or an experience can certainly detract from gratefulness. For example, I thought things were going to turn out differently, or that's not what I expected would happen. So when we have preconceived expectations about a situation or assume it will unfold in a certain way, and when it does not go as planned, we also often become disappointed. And when we're feeling disappointed, it's difficult to see the positive aspects of an experience. Our thoughts about how things should or will happen inhibit our ability to feel grateful for what is. And left unchecked, it can inhibit our ability to be grateful and can lead to things like anger, regret, or disappointment. Another thing that gets in the way of gratefulness is comparing ourselves with others. We often compare ourselves to other people who seem to have more than we do. But as Theodore Roosevelt said, comparison is the thief of joy. When we focus too much on what others have, we tend to ignore all the blessings and riches we have in our own lives. Another thing that it can affect gratefulness is a feeling of scarcity and insatiability. So obviously, scarcity is feeling not having enough, rather than the realization that in reality, most of our basic needs have already been met. Felt scarcity can foster an insatiable desire to always want more, regardless of what we do or do not have. And as long as you come from a belief that more, better, and different are required for a happy life, feelings of gratefulness will continue to elude you. Another thing that affects gratefulness is a sense of entitlement. So feeling that life must unfold in ways that please us is a recipe for loss of humility and connection. The reality is that life doesn't always go the way we want it, and it will include loss and suffering in addition to happiness and enjoyment. We are simply not entitled to escape suffering in life. When something bad happens, we often exclaim, "Why me?" Well, in a podcast done by Anderson Cooper called All There Is About Grief, you've heard that one? Yeah. Anderson is talking about how he experienced grief, and specifically he's going through his mother's belongings, and it also includes things from his father and his brother, who actually committed suicide right in front of his mother. And in case you didn't know, his mother is Gloria Vanderbilt. So obviously the family did experience a lot of grief. But Gloria Vanderbilt, instead of saying, "Why me?" said, "Why not me?" And what I took from that was that, what makes us think that we're so special or immune from having to not experience difficulties in life? Another way of approaching that is, why for me? So what is the lesson in this experience that is for me? That's another way to approach it. So our gratefulness will grow when we recognize the immeasurable support we receive from others as we travel this highway of life. So some guiding principles, there's 4 of them, 4 guiding principles for living a more grateful life. Number 1, see life as a gift. Grateful living is fundamentally grounded in the invitation to see life itself as a gift. An unexpected gift that you do not require for you to do anything to earn, but is coming to you in a variety of wrapping paper. Number 2, treat everything as surprise. This principle invites you to open your heart and mind to wonder about the world around you as you walk through the day. Do so with interest. It asks you to set aside your certainty about what you think you know, practice following your curiosity, and open yourself to discovery and awe. Being open to surprise is an antidote to a life lived on autopilot. Number 3, treat the ordinary as extraordinary. Taking life for granted is the opposite of gratitude. It is the death knell of a satisfying and joyful life. One of the most important rules for living gratefully is to stop taking people, possessions, your body, time, literally anything for granted. Put in positive terms, actively appreciating whatever treasures you have is the shortest path to joy. Number 4, and this is the last one, awareness, realizing that appreciation is generative. So awareness makes it possible to become active practitioners in shaping our experience. Focusing on noticing and nurturing what we appreciate is a matter of agency. Doing this in all the ways that we can, whenever we can, is an important aspect of grateful living. So how can we tie the principle of grateful living to our Unitarian Universalist principles? Well, let's consider the principle of the interdependent web of all existence. So when we have a deep sense of gratefulness, we come to realize that many other individuals have helped us bring us where we are today, and that we are dependent on others to provide food, material possessions, support, and love. Think about all the people involved in bringing us a simple cup of coffee. Farmers that grow the plants, production workers that process the coffee beans, truck drivers who transport the finished product, and baristas that create that perfect cup of cappuccino for us. We need to acknowledge that other people, and depending on our beliefs, a higher power, give us many gifts, big and small, to help us experience an abundant and fulfilling life. As Gwen Galen Gerwich reported in an article from The Heart of Our Faith, the discipline of gratitude is about knowing how much we have been given and acknowledging the scope of our dependence. It's about saying thank you to the people we love, to the world we enjoy, the universe we inhabit, and the God who holds us all in a divine embrace. Or as Robinson and Hawkins wrote in the Your World magazine, our thank yous remind us that we are dependent on those around us. The words acknowledge the web of relationships in which we live. The practice of saying thank you is good for our souls and a reality check on our tendency to think that we don't need others. So in closing, I'd like to remind you of 3 things. First of all, get in the habit of reframing your to-do statements. From I have to, go to I get to, and finish the statement with when many people cannot. Second, remember that you don't need to feel grateful, that you don't need to do anything to feel grateful or wait for anything more. You merely need to allow yourself to notice and be wowed by the things you so often overlook and take for granted in the life you already have. And finally, when you find it difficult to find gratefulness in those tough times, pause, find a nearby water fountain, press the button, and drink in all the awesomeness life has to offer. May you forever be grateful.
Wow, thank you, Gordon. I am so grateful for this congregation. And we're almost perfect, but I'm going to warn you, Unitarian Universalists, what we're about to do is partly a body thing and not just a head thing. So deal with it, okay? This is sensory reflection meditation. It was written by Claudine Oliva, who is a retired UU minister, actually. And you two folks, you're in. We invite each of you to take a deep breath into the present moment and realizing that not everyone will have the functions to enter into all of these movements, but grateful for the skills we do have, we invite you, as you are willing and able, to participate in this interactive meditation. Spirit of love, God of many names, we enter into this time of centering and sensory reflection. Let us shake out our arms and hands and rest them by our sides. Let us shake out our legs and feet and plant them on the floor. Let us stretch our heads high. Let us take a deep breath of thankfulness. Let us touch our eyes, happy to have the beauty of colors, line, and shape. Let us imagine the beauty of the world, the flowers, the trees, the babies, the puppies, all of the things in which we delight. Let us touch our ears. Through them we hear glorious sounds, happy ones and sad ones, beautiful songs and lonely cries. Let us listen well so we may live fully. Let us touch our lips. For through these lips we receive the food and drink that nourishes us and helps us grow, and we speak the words that express our thoughts and feelings. Let us touch our hearts, for it is in our hearts that we know and share love. Let us feel the world around us. In our imagination, let us experience the wind that cools us, the sun that warms us, the rain that nourishes the earth and cleanses us all. The beauty of life is all around us. Let us softly say, each in our own way, thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you, nature. Thank you, world. And may we smile in delight.
Going to take the offering. So the ushers can come forward.
Heaven knows where we are going, but we know within that we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. We are going. Heaven knows where we are going, but we know within. And we will get there.
church is to encourage all who gather there to grow more generous in spirit and in action. Unitarian Universalism shares that with all the world's faith traditions, to bring us closer to our highest good by acts of creation and compassion. And the offering that we have just made, your gifts are most gratefully received, and we thank you. Robert.
Let's see. Okay. Good morning. I'm Robert Wallenborn from the Caring Committee. And one of the things the Caring Committee does is we record the current joys, concerns, and milestones of the congregation as lifelines. If you would like to tell us about a joy, concern, or milestone to be shared with the congregation, please call or email a member of the Caring Committee or write it in the Lifelines book, which is on the altar here Sunday mornings before and after the service. And during the week, it's in the alcove beside the name tags in the hallway. Let us enter into a time of reverence together into this space of love and hope. We bring these joys and concerns. Let's see. Okay. A joy, we have changed the art in our church gallery. Please take time to look at it. Remember that the church gets a portion of any sales, and art would be a wonderful Christmas gift. It's hanging in both the sanctuary and the fellowship hall. And breaking news for our church, this Tuesday night, the Roanoke Valley Preservation Foundation will announce its annual awards. And for the first time ever, a book is being recognized instead of a historic structure. Say My Name, the story of Amanda Jeffers. Roanoke County, 1864, is by Betsy Biesenbach. It's the story of an enslaved child who was born on the same property our church sits on. And book sales proceeds go to our church, thanks to Betsy. So we're hoping this will generate more sales. And I share these words as wind carries our prayers for earth and all life, may respect and love light our way. May our hearts be filled with compassion for others and for ourselves. May peace increase on earth. May it begin with me. If you would like to light a candle for something that is on your heart this morning, I invite you to come forward during the music meditation, and may the warm light of that flame bring you peace. And we will use both sides of the altar.
Good God,
heard and our hearts restored.
Well, we have just two announcements today, and both of them involve food, but that is the American way. Our eighth principal task force is inviting the members of the congregation to join them in the Olin Room after the service. They're providing lunch. They're going to have a discussion about the proposed eighth principle, discuss some of the key terms, and those terms may mean different things to different people. And this is a great opportunity to talk and express your thoughts and feelings. And as you probably know, today was the bread communion, and our youth are going to be selling some soup, and the bread will be available as well. And from the smells coming from the kitchen, you've got some good choices. Okay. And Betsy Biesenbach, who is our star of the day, I think we can say. She is once again organizing the winter break feeding program for the students that we support. This was in everyone's bulletin, has a list of the foods that are needed. And especially with the state and challenges in our economy, the kids this holiday season are going to need these kind of supports even more. So if y'all will take a look at that, they'll start collecting, I think, next week, and it will go through December 10th. And there will be a plastic tote outside the church where you can put your donations. So, and Matt?
Good morning, everyone. In just a minute, I'm going to welcome Jack Perkins to come talk to us a little bit. If you remember last month, in the middle of October, we had about 40 of us stay after the service and be trained for CPR and how to use an AED, a potential life-saving device. And because so many of us came, there's a local organization where we qualified to get a free device, and we met that number of people that came. So we're going to get that today from Jack Perkins. He's the founder of the Compress and Shock Foundation. So he's going to talk to us a little bit. We had over 40 people. We get this device. He's a board certified physician in both emergency and internal medicine, and is currently a faculty physician with Virginia Tech Carilion Emergency Medicine Residency. And he started this foundation in 2017. So Jack, welcome to come up. And then when he's finished, I guess we'll present this device to Catherine, who's the president. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me. I am never short-winded, so I will try to keep this 2 to 3 minutes. This is a really special day for me for a lot of different reasons. And actually, this goes back 13 years. The last time I was in a Unitarian church was for the memorial service for my father. I grew up Unitarian in Rockville, Maryland. And for a lot of reasons, I haven't been to church in quite some time. And the principles of growing up Unitarian were brought home in the past 60 minutes. Gordon, that was a spectacular delivery of A Grateful Living. And a couple of my kids are here today, and I always have taught them that my religion is to give back and really kind of some of the principles of grateful living. And I said, I don't really go to church for that. That's just how I live my life. So getting back to today, 5 years ago, when I started the Compress and Shock Foundation, it was a lot out of frustration in the emergency department for cardiac arrest that happens outside the hospital. As emergency physicians, we have two roles, and One role is after the victim has been resuscitated and we take the next phase of resuscitation, because largely the person is alive because of bystanders or because of EMS. It really doesn't have anything to do with the emergency medicine physician. Largely, our role is to tell families that their loved one is deceased. And unfortunately, that is a really difficult conversation because in our minds, it could be a very different discussion if the person had received bystander CPR. And so every single one of those discussions, and I started residency in 2002, 20 years ago, comes with what could have been. So when I started this foundation, it was with everyone should have an equitable opportunity to return to their families. And this is a solvable issue. In medicine, you work towards things that you can improve in life, and cardiac arrest is one of them. So in the past 30 to 40 years, outcome in terms of a successful outcome from cardiac arrest is leaving the hospital neurologically intact. So returning to your family, resuming your life, that's a successful outcome. Numbers have not changed at all, not a bit. And that has almost entirely to do with the public not understanding their role as the first link of the chain of survival. Bystander CPR and early use of an AED are the only two ways the needle is going to move for people leaving the hospital and returning to their families. So the Compression Shock Foundation essentially took everything that was already out there, the American Heart Association, the Red Cross, and kind of did the opposite, if you're a fan of Seinfeld. Basically, never charge anyone for the education because these are life skills. You should never charge anybody for something that they should embrace. And just make it once a year, just one day a year where you make the public think about why would you not spend 60 minutes of your day learning to save the life of somebody else? That's the culture change that we're trying to embrace. And so in October, what we did was turn that into a community focus. So on October 16th, we had a pilot trial, and this congregation was one of the test arenas and very successful. And the idea is people are more likely to train if they train in a community so that the person across from them is somebody that they know, somebody they care about, and it's impactful to them should they ever be in that circumstance where they have to act or that person will die. So we were very successful on October 16th, and we had a variety of different areas where we went. And the thing that was very important to us was tying all the pieces of cardiac arrest outside of the hospital together, which is putting AEDs where people congregate, making sure that if they have an AED, they know how to use it, and understanding their role in cardiac arrest, and very importantly for the public, talking about barriers. Very interestingly, the week after we delivered this education, came out an article that has led us to change our mission statement in the New England Journal of Medicine. So it's the pinnacle article in medical literature. 3 weeks ago, and I sent this to Matt, and hopefully you can share it with the congregation. It was an article that came out that said, if you are Black or Hispanic, you are less likely to receive CPR in public, which we knew already in medical literature, or in their own homes. Therefore, they have a much less likely chance to walk out of the hospital and return to their families. We know this is the case. It's not just Blacks, it's not Hispanics, poor communities, people with less access to healthcare education, people in rural environments. The list goes on and on. It is not a level playing field. And so we're changing our mission statement saying that we want a level playing field. Everybody, regardless of race, ethnicity, language spoken, wherever you live in the United States, should have an equitable opportunity to return to their family when they have a cardiac arrest. And that starts with the public. And it's a solvable issue. So when I sent Matt an email saying, I really look forward to this opportunity, it boils down to this. I said, what we're doing as a foundation is an extension of Unitarian values and goes to grateful living and living in a manner in which you try to extend privileges to everybody in an equitable manner. So I'm hoping that this is just step one in a larger partnership with Unitarians all over the country, but not just Unitarians, everybody, because we've invited anyone to partner with us. And at the end of the article in the New England Journal of Medicine, it says, if you want to change outcomes, there's a couple of things that you need to do. Number one, you need to make this community specific. So if you go to a community and your learners are afraid to engage 911, then that needs to be part of the education. And those community EMS providers need to be the ones delivering that education. It needs to be fire and EMS and police that are training their community to break down those barriers. So the very first thought will not be fear when they pick up the phone to engage 911. If their language spoken is Spanish, you need to teach in Spanish, and you need to bring culturally specific pieces to that education. Very important. It needs to be community-centric for those individuals. And it needs to be free, equitable access, and with a program to bring AEDs in an accessible manner. So with that, I am very proud to be here today for a lot of reasons. Very important day for me, and glad to represent the Compress and Shock Foundation. I am going to leave cards with Matt. I will send Matt a detailed email if anybody wants to reach out, not only on behalf of your church, but your family, your business, your neighborhood. Anybody can reach out to us because we're looking for partners in our effort to save lives. So with that being said, on behalf of the Compress and Shock Foundation, I'm proud to present this AED to the Unitarian. Oh, sorry. I locked it. So the last thing I will say, and I apologize for being long-winded as I always have been, is these AEDs were actually grant funded by the Raleigh Court Presbyterian Church. So we have looked to partner with every denomination and bringing value to various communities of all faiths. And so we went to a number of different churches. One was a local temple. We went to Pig River and partnered with their congregation down there. So thank you very much for having us.
And it is hymn number 126. So if you want to sing along, we actually have hymnals, and we haven't done this in a long time. So the choir's here in case we're out of practice. 126 is Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing.
Come thou fount of every blessing, tune our hearts to sing thy praise. Streams of mercy never ceasing, call for songs of loudest praise. While the robe of life's perfection fills our hearts with joy and love, teach us ever to be faithful. May we still thy goodness prove. Come thou fount of every vision, lift our eyes to what may come. See the lion and the young lamb dwell together in thy home. Hear the cries of orphans silent, feel our love grow like the sun. When we all serve one another, then our heaven has begun. Come thou fount of inspiration, turn our lives to higher ways. Lift our gloom and desperation, show the promise
Wow. I'm filled with awe. I think I'm convinced that with gratitude, we can change the world. And with gratitude, certainly, we can change every world sitting in every seat here today. This benediction is from an unknown author. Be thankful. Be thankful that you don't already have everything you desire. If you did, what would there be to look forward to? Be thankful when you don't know something, for it gives you an opportunity to learn. Be thankful for the difficult times. During those times, you grow. Be thankful for your limitations because they give you opportunities for improvement. Be thankful for each new challenge because it will build your strength and character. Be thankful for your mistakes. They will teach you valuable lessons. Be thankful when you're tired and weary because it means you've made a difference. It's easy to be thankful for the good things. A life of rich fulfillment comes to those who are also thankful for the setbacks. Gratitude can turn a negative into a positive. Find a way to be thankful for your troubles, and they can become your blessings.
And I have to say a special thank you to Carrie for directing me as the worship associate. You've done a really good job. Extinguishing the chalice is what we're going to do next. We extinguish this flame, but we keep its light in our hearts. And for Mary Jean Irian, normal day, let me be aware of the treasures you are. Let me learn from you, love you, savor you, bless you before you depart. Let me not pass you by in quest of some rare and perfect tomorrow. And Gordon, thank you as usual. That was very inspirational. Wonderful service.